You're listening to the After the Show movie podcast brought to you by ascully.com. And here are your hosts, A Scully and Sid Talk. Happy anniversary, Sid Talk.
Anniversary of what?
Happy anniversary of our marriage to each other.
Oh, just to each other. I get it.
19
How many
years.
19. That is correct. And why did we pick this illustrious holiday, Groundhog Day,
Because
as our wedding day?
We both love the movie Groundhog Day.
People may not know, we got together old-timey internet. And one of the things that I liked about your little profile, and it wasn't a dating thing. It was just like chat with people back then, slowly, painfully, on old-timey internet. And yours thing said you liked movies and X-Files. And I was like, oh, the X-Files. Chit-chatting around, we find out we both love movies. In fact, you sent me a list.
I did.
A litmus test, as you will. A test, ladies. He sent me a test list of movies. Have I seen them? And if I hadn't, I needed to. And I think that if I had told him I didn't like those movies, we would not be sitting here on our 19th anniversary today.
So, some movies that were on that list were Clerks.
True.
True Romance, I believe.
No, I'd already
Pulp
seen
Fiction,
True Romance.
possibly.
Maybe, yeah.
And Trainspotting, also.
Chasing Amy. All the Kevin Smith movies at the time.
Dogma.
There might have been just a couple then. Dogma was after, but...
Yeah, those kind of movies.
Yeah. I passed, apparently.
You did.
I liked them. Most of them.
So, happy anniversary, and I love you very much.
Ah, I love you too, thanks.
And on that subject, we're going to be reviewing a romantic movie. It is Saturday.
Controversially romantic, I think, some people would say.
Yeah. Saturday, February the 2nd. After the show number 568, we are a movie review podcast. We're about to bring you a movie review for the movie Crazy Rich Asians. It's a 2018 movie. You can pick it up now on Blu-ray and 4K. It's PG-13 from our friends at Warner Brothers. And Sid Talk will give you the synopsis of Crazy Rich Asians.
What was that? It's like, are you ready to rumble? It's a romantic comedy. You know, boy meets girl, boy has a secret, girl finds out he's rich. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? She's rejected, she's accepted. Kissy, kissy, kissy face.
I would actually go for man meets woman. There's no boys and girls.
It's a man and a woman. Correct. It is a man and a woman. You're right.
It's not My Girl.
I mean, it's not big, some earth shattering. It's not Suspiria. It's not something that's hard to explain.
Hey, on the topic of Suspiria, after watching it last week, and then I rewatched it with the commentary. Mm-hmm. And the second time around, nothing to do with the commentary. They don't talk a lot of the time. They just let you watch the movie. It's like you're watching the movie and somebody talks every so often. But I think I liked it better the second time I watched it. So if I was completely negative last week, I wasn't completely negative.
Not completely, but it was, yeah, you had a vibe.
I think I'm a bit more positive after watching it again with the commentary.
Nice.
But anyway, that's not what we came here for. We came here for Crazy Rich Asians. It's a romantic comedy.
Which is pretty much the opposite of what Suspiria is all about. If you want to compare two types of movies.
We saw the trailer for Crazy Rich Asians many times. It's on the beginning of lots of different movies we've watched.
Many times.
Yeah. So we kind of knew what to expect, because that trailer actually does give a lot away, I think.
Well, what is there to give away? Again,
it's very predictable
man meets
anyway.
woman,
Yeah.
they fall in, they love each other, there's a conflict, there's a problem, blah, blah, blah.
Can I give you what I thought about Crazy Rich Asians first?
Yep.
Okay. I'm not really a massive fan of romantic comedies.
That's not necessarily true, because you love that shit.
I can name a few on my hand that I really like. One of them is...
Love Actually.
Love Actually. The one with Topher Grace that we discussed this morning. In Good Company. Mm-hmm. It kind of skirts the line of drama and romantic comedy, though, I think, that one. But I really like that one. There are a few where I'm like, oh yeah, I really like them. I get exactly what they're going for. But in general, I don't seek these kind of movies out, you know?
True.
So Crazy Rich Asians let me say, how can I be kind about it?
What'd you like about it?
What I liked about it was the fish out of water kind of tale, even though it's nothing new. That she doesn't know what she's getting herself into. Mm-hmm. So, spoilers. There might be some spoilers here. She meets a man. He happens to be crazy rich.
And Asian.
But hides that fact. And, just pretends to be a regular guy. But when it comes time to go and meet his parents in Singapore, they are, insanely rich. And she doesn't really get wind of it until they get on the plane and they happen to be in first class, which she's not very...
Is this a synopsis or your opinion?
No, this is what I'm saying is this is what I like. I explain it to them. This is what I like about it.
Okay.
That she doesn't know what she's in for, and the cast of characters that his family include are all crazy and rich and Asian, right? So they're all kind of big caricatures, aren't they? All of them.
Correct.
And it presents some fun things along the way, I thought. But there again, the love story part of it, which I'm normally a sucker for a love story. I do like a love story in something. It never did anything for me the entire time, the love story.
You weren't convinced?
Even when there was the wedding part, which wasn't their wedding, by the way. But they were looking at each other as though they were getting married. And there was this music playing to make you specifically, maybe cry at that point. It didn't do nothing for me, that part. Do you get what I'm saying?
Do you have no heart?
I think so.
Is that what you think?
And, other movies have. This one didn't. But I did find some...
What's a movie that almost makes you cry and I already know what it is?
Love Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one? The writer's story? When he goes to Portugal or wherever she's
Almost
from?
all of the stories.
No, not Walking Dead story. That one's dumb.
Yeah, true. No, almost all of Love
Rick
Actually.
Grimes is in Love Actually, in case anybody doesn't know. I mean, he's not Rick Grimes
No,
yet.
I actually like that story too, even though it's a bit weird.
Keira Knightley and Rick Grimes.
Yeah. But anyway, this one, the love story part of it did nothing for me. But I did find some of the situations funny. But then I found some of the situations really off kilter. Some of the characters weren't right. They didn't seem... the guy who arranged the party on the boat? Mm-mm. There's a crucial scene in the movie where they're on a big oil...
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
He didn't seem like he belonged in this movie to me. It was really weird.
I guess he was supposed to represent another personality type.
Another stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as far as a romantic movie, it did nothing for me. And as far as a comedy movie, it very rarely I thought some stuff was funny. So is that, in my estimation, that's not a success for me.
Well.
The other thing, you asked me what I liked. Mm-hmm. The other thing I really liked is there's a lot of pop songs in this, but in Chinese. I found that to be interesting and fun, to hear songs that like Madonna and things like that.
Yeah.
In Chinese. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed how it looks. There are some cool locations. But then, it never commits to anything, really.
Does any romantic comedy?
Well, this one in the middle, it gets a tiny little bit dark, right? With the fish and the bed.
Yeah, for a half a second.
For half a second. And I was like, oh, okay, we're getting into some meat and potatoes here. Something different is going to happen or whatever, but it really gets out of the darkness pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
So there's none of that, even though they hint that there might be. And it's not A Simple Favor, another movie with this guy in it. It's not like that.
No.
But, it's... There's the political side to this movie. It's the first... Well, there was a Hollywood movie in 1950 that had a whole Asian cast. And this movie has a whole Asian cast. And, it's 2018 when it came out. It's... I'm trying to word this correctly. When we watched the extras for this movie, what was the director saying a lot? This is important. This is an important movie. kept saying
kind of
important.
groundbreaking and it's important that we have the all Asian cast.
Yeah,
and
but
they saw it as a big deal.
Important because it's, showing Hollywood that an Asian cast can sell a movie and it's viable, and it doesn't have to be all white or black faces in movies. There is also I did like that quote at the beginning about China. The quote.
Yeah, leave it sleeping because when you don't want to wake it up.
I really like that. Now that quote is like the most important part of the movie. That quote starts it off, and you're like, "Whoa, that's some powerful stuff." The opening scene of this, where it shows the racism happening, it's kind of powerful part. It never ever goes to that level again, does it?
Yeah, nothing ever happens from that.
No.
You don't get the vibe. You don't return to that place. You don't return to that time. No one remembers back at that moment. No one uses that moment as a reason to make any other choices in their lives. He doesn't remember it. Like, he's right there. He's a boy when it happens.
Yeah.
The snotty guy at a hotel wants to kick the lady out with her kids. They come in during the rain, and he's kind of like, wouldn't you be happier to go to a hotel in Chinatown? That's, and then she has her husband buy the hotel, and he's screwed over, basically. And the boy, who grows up to be our leading man, is sitting there watching it all. He zooms in on his face. He looks back over his shoulder at the guy like, and then that's it. Like, he doesn't ever mention it. He doesn't even say to the girlfriend, like, there's this time, and because she says, I didn't even know, because she makes a joke that he uses her Netflix password. He eats half of her food all the time. He always uses coupons and all that. And he's like, well, I don't think of their money as my money. And if he had just said, there was one time when I was a kid and my mother did this thing, whatever.
It would have made a nice scene, actually.
Yeah, it would have. Then you harken back to it a bit to kind of go to those little dark moments, but they didn't really dwell on them.
No, and I, this movie opens with a really cool line of that line of text. I was like, wow, yeah, okay, we're going somewhere here. It opens with that about racist people, and then never really addresses any of that. And so the first few minutes seem important, and these people saying, oh, this is important, it's really important we make this movie. Yeah, it did seem important, and then it seemed like a bland, American comedy for the rest of the time.
Agree.
Me. So, if you're trying to be important, and the important part is just the fact that you've got an Asian cast, really, you should have really followed it up with the story too, and made the story. It can still be a comedy and have interesting, things to say about culture. I don't think this does. It just shows a load of rich people, and. That's about it, right?
Yeah, it becomes generic rich people.
Yeah.
To me. Again, we have to emphasize we're not Asian. And what we learned, we did get educated about something after reading up on this movie. Our perception or our understanding of what an Asian person is, we don't know really. Because people in that part of the world, there's controversy about it. Some people claim this movie has no Asians in it because the only true Asians are X, Y, and Z people. Other people say, why did you put these people in it? Because they're not Asian, because we're Asian. Everyone else is except those people. And we're like, what?
That didn't cross my mind until I read about this.
Right. So a lot of that is there to the people who are aware of it, sensitive to it, could potentially be offended by, or misrepresented by it. We're none of that. So anything that we say in reference to any of the Asian references at all, we only know what we know from a distance, superficially. That's the truth. So if I think it's cute or fun, that's because I'm going like what you just said. It all seems just like a generic romantic comedy. Yeah. It's well acted. There are a few over the top people, but in general, I think it had really good moments. But the overall thing was just very plain, straight up. The heart rules your life. That's the message.
And it's a bit blur for me.
But fun. It's fun.
Especially it doesn't really go anywhere particularly. It's a beginning of a trilogy, which I kind of. In this film's case, I don't feel like is needed.
No, not at all.
What? They're going to get
What
married?
else are you going to tell us? Yeah.
You know what the third one will be? Their marriage, won't it? The third one's when they get married. Or the second one's when they get married and the third one's when they fall apart, right?
Have a baby.
Yeah, have a baby. Crazy rich Asians and a little lady.
Father of the Asian bride, too, because we got to bring that father in there
There you
somehow.
go.
So we're going to mix them up with the other generic American,
Yeah.
you know.
So as far as that's how it goes for me. They're the things I liked, and I find the rest of it very bland and very, I would almost say, uninteresting most of the time.
Yeah.
And not, like some...
I don't know if it's uninteresting. Because I find the people interesting, and it's well done, so I end up caring about them all.
Did you find it funny, though?
Sometimes.
Remember, it's a comedy.
Sometimes. Yes.
What particularly? I mean, you'll know if you...
I did like her friend.
Aquafina.
Yep, I liked her sometimes.
She was the funniest part of it.
I liked her family. I think it's again, I'm not in any of that, but I always compare things to what I do know. And there are people that I do know who, in the culture of your life, there are people who have money and live a certain way. There are people who have money and live a different way. They have equal amounts of money in the bank, and over here you might have what you'd be like, oh, they act like trashy people, but they got a lot of money, and these people over here act like snobs, and they have a lot of money. That was the contrast I was seeing between the roommate's family and the boyfriend's family, was the sort of like old rich and new rich, and the kind of behaviors of each one. So I like that. And I think I've really liked her, the leading lady.
Rachel.
Yeah, I think she had funny moments, and the way she was, I liked it. I mean, I did laugh, but it was more like, aw, many times for some reason.
Meh. But for me, that's it. It was like, there were some parts that were like embarrassingly bad, I thought.
Oh, like what?
Just like some of that guy that guy with the bazooka, firing a bazooka.
Definitely.
That was just like, it doesn't even... This movie... See, why that didn't fit for me is that felt like it was coming from like a Seth Rogen movie, whereas the rest of it didn't. So it's like this one character who's out of this wacky American movie, who's like...
Yeah, walked
into this movie, and nobody else in the movie has got the memo. Like, he's just this guy. I didn't like that. But as far as the what I really, really liked was the mother. She was really good.
Oh, she was really good, yeah.
Probably the best thing in the movie.
I liked the girl.
There's some nice locations. It doesn't look like they scrimped on anything, But as far as the message goes, and the message, a lot of it is like, throughout the movie, is like, oh, materialism is great, right? And we get... Even when they're trying to, like, a friend, Aquafina character, even when she's going like, oh, these people are rich and you're going to get married to him, let me come to the party and have a look, like, as though she's a poor person. But then she rolls up in an Audi, one of those Audis. Like, she's rich anyway. Like, it's not like, it's not like there's any, like, she's the pauper and they're the prince.
True.
It felt like there was nobody but crazy rich people. I guess that's why it's called what it is. Maybe it does for me need more of a comparison. Like, here are some regular people, and here are the rich people. Because I can't relate to the rich people because I'm not that rich like that.
Right, but she's not rich. Our leading lady. She's
not, but she's also, while she is a fish out of water, and that's the part I like, it doesn't last for long that she gets used to it pretty quickly.
Seems like it. Well, not quickly throughout the whole movie, but then all of a sudden, she's right in there.
Right. I also know nothing about Mahjong, the game.
Yeah.
I've tried to play it on a computer a few times to try and get achievements on the Xbox 360 back in the day. And I kind of just fluffed my way through it and won some games. I didn't really understand what I was doing. It felt like it was a Asian version of Dominoes. You know what I'm saying? But the whole end scene of this movie is a Mahjong game. And luckily, they made it so you don't really have to understand it to know what went on in the scene. Because I was a bit worried. I was like, oh, hold on. It's like a battle between the mother and Rachel, and it's like a mahjong game. And I'm like...
But remember, it's a throwback to the very first scene of the movie when she fakes out a guy playing poker and tells you exactly what's going to happen on that last scene there with the mother-in-law or future mother-in-law, is that the mother-in-law's trying to win instead of just trying not to lose or something like that. That was like the lesson.
Let me give you a little fact as well.
Okay.
The mahjong scene is not in the novel.
Okay.
It is only in the movie. And it's in the movie because the director wanted to homage the Joy Luck Club. The mahjong scene from that.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Oscar-winning movie, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But that's why it's in there. But when that part happened, I hate to say this too. I know nothing about card games, and whenever there's a movie or TV show, and it's like, oh, we're gonna have a card game, and they put down the cards on the table and they turn them over, I don't know who's won. I never know who's won.
Like, oh, I guess, is that good? Is that bad?
I'm like, oh, hold on, let me look. Which one's smiling? Which one looks pissed off? I don't look at the cards because I don't get it. So I didn't get mahjong, but luckily in this movie, you don't need to know how it is played.
They make it clear.
Yeah. So let's move on to the cast here. Constance Wu plays Rachel Chu. I mean, she's your favorite in this?
Yeah.
I don't know her.
I liked her.
I liked her too. But you know what? I mean, I like some of it. I didn't like other parts. I never felt her chemistry with the guy that much.
I did. I felt like they were because I felt like they were pretty cozied up several times.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt it.
All right,
but I agree with you about the wedding scene that I didn't feel that like, oh.
That you could tell by the way that was made and filmed and the music welling up and them looking at each other that was to make the audience cry at that point.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel it.
I wasn't crying. I wasn't crying.
I am cold and heartless.
Well, being that we all know that, but...
Henry Golding plays Nick Young. We did last see him in A Simple Favor. He was the husband.
Another cheery romantic comedy.
Yeah. Do you know what? This is Henry Golding's first movie that he ever made, Crazy Rich Asians. He's not a star he actually presents a travel program on British TV, it said. But he hadn't made a movie before this movie. So I actually think he did a good job.
Yeah.
And obviously we've seen him in A Simple Favor, which came out after this. But he seems like a good leading man for romantic comedy type stuff, you know?
Yeah,
Is he handsome?
Yeah, I was going to say, why do you think
Let's tick off the boxes. Is he handsome? Yes.
Why does that have to be the lead, the guy?
Or a secondary handsome guy.
Why does he have to be handsome? And
I'm just saying he is handsome, so...
Define handsome.
He ticks the box of handsome.
And don't say every time you look in the mirror.
Bradley Pitt.
He doesn't look like Bradley Pitt.
No, I'm talking of what you said, what's handsome. Bradley Pitt.
Okay. Is he? Okay.
I think people think he's handsome.
It's good to know what you think is handsome. I like that.
Who else? Daniel Craig.
Nah, I disagree with these men that you find handsome.
Bradley Cooper.
Don't know about that. I'm just
thinking of, hairy-ish blokes. I don't know. I'm not.
I know that's what I'm saying, but you're deciding that it's because he's handsome that he could be a leading man. So I just want you to define what that means.
Yeah.
And you can't. So there you go.
It's just an intangible, isn't it? Anyway,
I like True Detective guy. Oh, that guy. I think he's handsome.
Anyway, Henry Golding is good. I liked him. I liked him in the other movie better, though. A Simple Favor. Even though the ending of that Simple Favor was really overdramatic and kind of like a soap opera.
It's a bit weird.
Especially what happens to him. Michelle Yeoh, who plays Eleanor Young, the mother. Michelle Yeoh's really good in anything that you'll see her in. I will stamp that up.
I was going to say, that's very definitive.
I will stamp my Michelle Yeoh seal of approval. She was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. She was in... What else was she in? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I believe.
You're talking about the mother?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
She's been in many different things over the years. I really like her. And I think you agree she's the most quality item in this movie.
I disagree with that because I like the young lady as well.
All right, and Gemma Chan plays Astrid.
Like her too.
Gemma
She's
Chan,
really good.
I really like Gemma Chan anyway, after watching 4 seasons of Humans, which is where we was first introduced to her.
Correct. Where we was or where we were.
She was Mia in Humans. I can't get Mia out of Humans out of my head anymore when I look at her.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but
but she was very good in this. And you know
no
what?
Longer a robot.
Gemma Chan, Astrid's story in this, I really liked, but I don't think they elaborated on it enough. Like, the most feeling I had for anything was when she, towards the end of the movie, decided enough's enough.
Yeah.
That was like the most feeling part of this movie for me. But it was so threadbare, the story. It's like we meet them, her and her husband.
I think it's just another relationship.
Yeah, but it's kind of threadbare. It's very quick, isn't it?
You get the whole story that because he isn't from money and she loves him,
right?
That he's not a man because he's not providing for his wife, and culturally that he's working extra hard to overcome that, and he's mad at her because of his own perception of the situation, she makes him feel less important. Then we have a bad choice that he makes. So I think that's another interesting aspect of not just we're trying to tag Asian culture on top of it all, but any culture. You know, a really rich woman who marries a dude who has less money in some areas of any culture. I don't care where you're from. You could be downtown London. You could be in my small town in middle America. And if the wife makes more than the husband, some people have an opinion about that. It frames who you are, they think.
I mean, so that story is in there.
You got all that just from their few scenes.
Just from a few scenes.
Yeah.
And then you know that he's cheating on her. Mm-hmm. But then there's like a massive portion of the movie where you forget about her completely because she's not really in it that much. And then it tries to be super dramatic with what happens with that. That's what I mean. It's just not fleshed out enough, even though I did like it. Awkwafina plays Peek Lin Go, and Ken Jeong, who always gets on my irritation nerve, plays Wai Mun Go. I think he's too over the top, Ken Jeong, always. He's from Fresh Off the Boat, if you don't know who he is. And he's always super...
Are you talking about the guy with the rocket launcher?
No. The guy, Awkwafina's family.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
Ken he's wearing like a weird tiger tracksuit.
Wasn't he also Doctor something?
He's been in many comedy things.
Yeah.
But he's really super outrageous, and it never... Oh, I think he was in The Hangover as well. But it's not... In this movie, it kind of fit. But also, those characters don't feel very real, do they? Nobody's like that.
Correct.
24/7. It's not... It just feels like a comedian trying to do some stuff.
I agree.
Thing. What do you think of Awkwafina?
I liked her.
She was funny in Ocean's 8.
Kinda.
Also.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda. Not really.
So this was directed by John M. Chu. He also directed Step Up 2, that dance movie that you all know and love. The second one. And he also...
Yeah, the second one of that I don't know anything about.
And he also directed Now You See Me 2. I like Now You See Me, but I never even watched the sequel to it.
You did love it. You love magic.
Yeah. So he's made those type. I think this movie kind of fits with those movies. They're kind of fluffy. And you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
I can see why they would pick him to make this movie. So what do you think of the direction of this movie?
I mean, it's pretty straight up romantic comedy. There's nothing
like artistic or...
No, I mean, it looks beautiful a lot of the time.
Yeah, I thought so too. Good sets.
Yeah.
And, but I don't think you would...
And I do think for the genre that some of the scenes were really well done.
So, extras.
I'm judging the genre.
There are extras. There's a commentary by the director and the novelist, which is interesting. There's Crazy Rich Fun, which is a making of. It's very brief, though. It's like a few minutes. And there's some deleted scenes and a gag reel. We watched the gag reel, and I completely forgot what happened in it.
Nothing. I watched it too. Nothing happened. Pretty much nothing.
So as far as extras, you'll be able to listen to that commentary, but the rest of it is pretty meh. So, in conclusion on Crazy Rich Asians, I'm pretty blah on it, to be honest. I'm pretty blah, Sid Talk.
Did it depress you, or just saying it's not memorable enough to like?
It's not very memorable.
Okay,
that's
fair.
What that opening quote and that opening scene promised, I didn't get any of that from it.
So you wanted what did you want?
I wanted more of a message or something. I didn't want it to be quite as fluffy as it was, I guess.
Okay.
I'd never read the novel, so I'm not familiar with how it was going to go. I thought there might have been some darkness in it or something, but it never went anywhere like that, and I was kind of underwhelmed, I guess.
So you did want to watch Suspiria again?
Yeah. I mean, there was a couple of laughs, but not something where I was like, this is very, very funny. None of that.
Well, that's unfortunate for you.
So a bit meh for me. I will give it the score of meh.
What are you, from the 21st century?
And you, what about you?
I enjoyed it, but I'm not a huge romantic comedy person anyway.
It's a split decision.
It does the same exact thing for me as any romantic comedy, unless it's pretty exceptional, which is, So yeah.
And as far as...
But I had a good time. I don't judge it as harshly as some people in this room.
I'm not completely harsh. Otherwise, I would have said, "Oh, forget this. I never want to see anything like that again." No,
That's pretty close.
I can't say I didn't have fun with some of the characters, but I did find it pretty bland and pretty uninteresting. But that's just me, and we are a split decision here.
Well, I mean, not really. Neither of us hated it or loved it.
No. We're just meh.
Listen to you. How long have I been married to you and I still don't understand you?
So you understand that what I would have a reaction to this movie like that? Just middle of the road, nothingness.
Kinda.
That's my reaction to it. Whereas Suspiria last week, while I said to you I probably wouldn't watch that again, even though I did this week. I have a compulsion to watch, if there's a commentary on a movie, and that includes Crazy Rich Asians, during the week
might change your mind.
I will pop it in and watch it again with the commentary on.
Nice.
Because you don't have to actually watch it, because you've already seen it. But listening to it, you do get some more information usually. But anyway, with Suspiria, I was in that mind of, I appreciate what this is, but then after going back and listening to them
I don't really want to spend another... It's kind of like Manchester on the Sea. Fantastic, amazing film. But you feel like if I have to watch that again, I need something to get over my emotional trauma. Because it's so sad. You can hardly bear it. Yeah. So to watch it again, so I'd have to rev up, even though it's so good.
That's why I love Magnolia. Because I won't watch that every week. Because it would actually slay you, wouldn't it?
It's hard to take.
And it's hard to take, but when you've watched Magnolia, say you leave it for a few years and then watch it, it always gets me every time. It's got something about it that can stir your emotion.
Really? What are you doing? I'm judging you silently.
Yeah.
From a distance.
It's to do with the combination of music, the depressing story, because it's pretty depressing.
There's more than one depressing story in that movie.
It gets you. And
it's a rave review to say this movie's so depressing that I barely want to watch it every 10 years. But it has been one of your favorites since the first time we ever went to see it when it was at the theater.
Absolutely. And we both need to rewatch it soon because we haven't seen it for a long time. I have.
I'll leave that to you.
No, you need to feel it too again.
Fair enough.
All right. So next week's movie review will be Widows. We'll look at that next week. That sounds like it might have some darkness. Widows.
Nah, I feel like it's gonna be like, and this is me prejudging it, so I'm probably 100% incorrect, which is fine. I don't care. But like Ocean's 8, you know?
Oh, I don't think so. I saw a portion of the trailer, and it doesn't look anything like that.
Okay.
Nope.
Oh, I'm going to trust you now?
It's a bit more dramatic and serious than
And
that.
if there's one thing that's held our marriage together all these years, it's that I'm right most of the time, and you accept that fully. So next week, we'll be able to put that to the test.
That's what she likes to think. All right, so movie recommendations. I am going on the subject of Crazy Rich Asians. I will give you my favorite romantic comedy of all time, Love Actually. I will also give you Groundhog Day.
Yep.
And I will also give you a TV show called Humans with Gemma Chan, which has been on for 4 seasons. There is another season coming.
Oh, God.
It's a British show. It is actually on Netflix, I believe. It is awesome. It's a movie about...
It's a show.
It's a show. Yeah, I feel like it's a movie because we've watched, it's a TV show about it's this, near future, but we've invented androids that look after us and what can happen.
And they rise up against the humans. It's really not a new story either.
But it's really well done.
It is well done.
Yeah. So they're my recommendations.
And mine are very basic, but this movie brought these to mind. One of them is Pretty Woman. Because you've got your poor prostitute who can't pay her rent. She meets up with this rich dude, happily ever after. Oh, there's a little trauma and a little bit of things. Something tries to keep them apart, but in the end, in case you haven't ever seen it, spoiler alert, happy ending. As far as I remember. Number 2 is Arthur. Also, very wealthy man. Meets a woman in a cafe. She's poor. Her and her father don't have much money. Blah, blah, blah. Things try to keep them apart, but love rules all. And in the end, spoiler alert, happily ever after.
I remember
Except for Arthur 2 and then the remake of Arthur later. Those were not happily ever afters.
Russell Brand.
Ugh. I mean, I like Russell Brand. I did not like the remake, and I didn't particularly love Arthur 2. On the rocks. So, but those are mine.
Rest in peace, Dudley Moore.
Yeah.
All right, so A Scully stuff. I've been playing more Resident Evil. Resident Evil 2.
No kidding. No kidding.
I'm still not off my first playthrough. I'm playing through as Leon. I'm now in the sewers. There are zombies, and there's a big giant mutant crocodile. It's kind of terrifying if you play it with headphones on. And I'm still working my way through. The second playthrough will be Claire. You play through it twice. But it is exceptional. I would give it a 10 out of 10 as far as video games go. How about
Nice.
that? It is really, really how you do a remake of a game. If you haven't tried it, try it. I was going to say there's a demo, but there isn't. There was a demo before it came out, but not anymore. The other game is the Grand Tour game. If you like the show The Grand Tour, pick up the game on the PS4 or
But
the
hey,
Xbox.
Scully, what's the Grand Tour?
It's what took over. There used to be a show called Top Gear on the BBC,
And what's it about?
and about cars.
Okay.
And then one of the hosts, Jeremy Clarkson, punched a man in the face. And then
It's not funny, but the story is funny because now they're mega successful.
and now they relocated to Amazon.
Because Amazon dudes were like, we don't give a shit. You can punch anybody in the face.
Yeah.
We'll bring you over here and give you shitloads of money.
From what I've heard, Amazon actually hire a man just so he can punch him in the face when he needs to.
So if Jeremy Clarkson needs to. I mean, it's not a funny story, like I said, but
No.
they turned out all right.
No, and the Grand Tour is better for me than Top Gear ever was. It's really, really fun. Anyway, there's a game based on the show, and the game operates in this way. You watch the whole episode of the show in the game, so you don't need to go and get Amazon Prime to watch the show. The show is involved it's actually in the game.
You have to buy the game.
You do, for $14.99. It's
Right.
not actually particularly expensive. And every week after the show is aired, like about 2 hours later, the game episode comes out. You download it and play it, and you play through the whole episode. You see the whole show, and whenever it's time for them to race cars or do a funny stunt or whatever they're doing, the gameplay kicks in and you do that thing. Like this week, it was the special where they went to Colombia and they were doing wildlife photography. And there was mini games where you had to take photos of different animals, and there was a bit where you had to Hammond's car got stuck in the mud, and you had to be in Jeremy's car and pull it out of the mud using the winch. And
who's Hammond?
He's one of the other hosts. And then there's also like racing parts where you have to do laps around tracks and get the best time. It's like playing the show. It's the closest I could see a video game doing to playing the show. There's usually between 10 and 15 gameplay segments during the show. So it might take you an hour and a half to watch a show that's normally in an hour because you've got the gameplay bits. But it's really fun. It's not like Forza Motorsport. It's not super accurate physics of cars and stuff. It's just built for fun. There's a part in this Columbia part where they went across this really narrow bridge in this big monster truck, and you have to do that, and you have to watch the wheels, and like they just fit on the bridge, and you've got to keep correcting as you're driving. It's just fun challenges like that you do. It's $14.99. It's on both consoles.
Sounds I like out in the country where I learned how to drive.
Yeah. And the other thing is, weirdly, this is a weird one. I bought a pair of earbuds. You know those wireless earbuds that you just put in your ears, like the what do you call them? EarPods?
I don't even know, but I think we all know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I got some for Android. They're the ones that you push in your ears. They kind of look like those things that singers have in their ears when they're singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got a pair of those around Christmas time. They're from Anker. They're called Liberty Light by Soundcore. I bought a pair from Amazon. And when they came, they were missing the rubber ends that go on the headphones. So I emailed the company and they said, "Oh, we'll send you a packet." About a week later, I got a packet with all the things and everything was fine. I've been using those ear pods or whatever you call them since then, and I love them. But then out of the blue, I got an email from them and they say like, we see here that you had a issue with your headphones and you contacted customer service. Would you like to, we're bringing out some new headphones. Would you like to try them for free? And I said to you, this seems like fishy or weird. But anyway, I replied back and said, yeah, I'll try them. This is not an advertisement, by the way. They just asked me to try them. And they sent me a pair of their, I can't remember what they're called. That's not a good advertisement if it was.
No.
But they're Bluetooth sound cancelling headphones, the ones that go over your head. They're very much like the Bose ones that everybody buys for air, to go on airplanes with. Come in a hard carrying case. And they've got that, what do you call it? Sound cancelling technology. So when you put them over your ears, everything goes dead, like you can't hear the outside world. And when you put some music on, it's just you and the music. There's no, like, in this room, you can hear a PC fan on or, different noises in this room. You can't hear any of that. I find it really soothing or something. I've been playing Resident Evil, which is a game where it's best if you only hear the game to get the full atmosphere and not, like, the surrounding noise. And they sent me these just for no reason. Really?
Oh, really? Let's explain the whole thing. Then they have you go to Amazon to get it, so as if you're a customer to get those, and then they're going to ask you for a review.
Well,
so
I haven't been asked for a review.
Not yet, but I mean, that's the implication. We all live in a modern world. Even though it's nice and you love them, but still, let's not sugarcoat it.
I thought it was pretty cool. They're like $100.
That is cool.
They sent them me. I really liked them. I love wireless headphones anyway. I don't like having a wire when I'm sat on my computer. I like to be able to just stand up and wander away and still listen. So, I've never had that happen. The company's called Anker. If you go on Amazon, you'll see tons of products. They make loads of headphones, Bluetooth speakers, that kind of thing. But, they're really cool so far. They're called, I'll tell you what they're called next week. I have no idea. Put the box away. But what's for dinner, Sid Talk?
I haven't decided, but you did request... for right or for wrong, after we watched this movie, you did request that we have Chinese food.
I did.
So we might do that.
It sounds delicious.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Well, I didn't love the one that I had the last time. I love, like, the spring rolls.
Oh, I love that one last time. Noodles. Maybe you just get the one I got then.
Yeah.
Because it was really good.
Big vegetables.
It had mushrooms in it and like snap peas.
I'll think about it. So I don't know for sure.
If it's not that, what else is it?
If it's not that, it'll be mashed potatoes and corn and peas.
But we should have that. It's our anniversary dinner.
Chinese?
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, we'll do Chinese.
Right.
Issue settled.
What is your advice?
My advice is when someone disagrees with you, points out something that they think is flawed in what you think, just tell them more. Tell them more about why you think that instead of telling them why they're wrong. Because they're just some people are going to try to hammer you and be like, you're an idiot because you are different than me. That's a different person. But someone's just saying to you, why do you believe that? Why did you vote for him? No matter what their tone is, just tell them. Don't be offended. Don't be all sensitive and shit. Just tell them. Explain thoroughly. In your life, this has happened, that has happened, this is why, and this made me think this, and this taught me that. And then you're going to be surprised that they're going to tell you, from their perspective, why they don't choose that thing, or why they don't think that thing. That's a conversation, not like an idiot brawl with words. So my suggestion, if someone doesn't agree with you, just tell them more. You might think, oh, I shouldn't have to justify my beliefs, my precious little beliefs, my precious little political views. You're not justifying them. You know, the thing that you tell the other person, that experience that you had or the reasons that you have for your own thoughts can do two things. More than two, but these two things. One, it can make you review it, maybe question it, and rethink. That's not a bad thing, because you might come to the same conclusion, you might come to a different conclusion. And number two, it might give them something new to think about that may bring them to a different conclusion. Telling someone they're an idiot doesn't really foster any sort of education, you know? So that would be my suggestion.
One other topic before we leave is the Oscars. We haven't mentioned the Oscars. Did the nominations. And some movies were in there. What did you think of Black Panther for Best Picture?
I don't know. I don't think I have a grasp on what Best Picture needs to be anymore. The qualities for a Best Picture are going to be different for everyone.
Right.
I always think performance, story, innovation in technology, or so memorable that you just are shaken by it, or it's so obtuse that it's like it just jabs you and and it's well done as well, but you know what's well done, right? So I don't know, because I wouldn't think any Marvel movies, even though I like them, they're enjoyable. They have high quality of production values. They have good special effects. They have some good stories. I mean, it's all the same story. Big bad guy wants to destroy the universe or whatever. And then the good guys have to save everybody. It's not really like genius storytelling or anything. But as a spectacle and as a movie experience, right up there on my list. But do I value them more than something like we saw with, Moonlight or or what was it called? The Thread.
Phantom Thread. There's a quality there that's just different. It may be less accessible to some people. So I get that. So is it higher quality just because it's what it is? But I don't know. I don't know anymore. If I had to pick mine, I can only pick from the ones we've seen. So this is the Best Picture nominees are on my screen right now. Mm-hmm. We have seen Black Panther, Black Klansman. We're going to see Bohemian Rhapsody and A Star Is Born soon.
But I mean, if you really think about it, even though you and I are fans of the Academy Awards and the Oscars and movies and all that, it is kind of a tired old system. It's very political and inside of the Hollywood thing. Whatever catches someone's political either agenda or we've got to get this movie through because it's so different than anything that's ever been. So we're going to spend shitload of money because, people might not know how it works. You start advertising your nomination. You have to nominate, put your movie out there to be nominated. So you sort of court people who are part of the Academy. You court the public, you court public opinion, you get it right out there. Full page ads in all the Hollywood newspapers and New York newspapers. You just like, if you have the stuff behind you to get it out there, more people see it, then your chances of nomination are higher. Whereas if you have a smaller movie that may be 10 times more the cinematic experience than anything like a Marvel movie, but you don't have $10 million and you don't have people who work at Hollywood Insider and you don't know people who write for Hollywood magazines or anything. So your movie's not going to get the attention, and one person might go to the Academy and go, I'm going to write this one in. And everybody's like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
So it is a popular vote to an extent. Some of the cream does rise to the top, as we know, But,
yeah, totally.
But not always.
I like the visual effects category. Because it consists of Avengers Infinity War, Ready Player One, Solo: A Star Wars Story, First Man, and Christopher Robin.
Right.
I would give it to...
We don't know. Have you seen all of them?
I've seen 1, 2, 3. I've seen all of them apart from Christopher Robin.
Okay.
So I would give it to special effects, Ready Player One.
Okay. Would you?
Yes, I would.
I disagree.
There are amazing special effects. I'm really pissed off that First Man didn't get the Best Picture nomination because I loved it.
It was really good. But
it did get visual effects nomination, sound mixing nomination, and production design. But it's not, it is not Best Picture, is it?
It wasn't nominated for Best Picture, no.
I also like the animated feature film category, which has Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I really would like a Spider-Man movie to win an Oscar. That'd be really cool. So please let that one win.
But
Oscars.
See, again, you're saying that so no quality is involved just because it's a Spider-Man movie? You know what I'm saying? So... But it's still an enjoyable spectator sport.
Yeah. So, that's the Oscars, and it's on February the 24th. So, we will...
That's my brother's birthday.
We will be watching.
That old bastard.
All right, so, in conclusion to this week's episode, you can catch us on ascully.com, sidtalk.com, Twitter and Facebook. Catch this podcast on the Google Play Store.
I'm also on Instagram.
The iTunes Music Store, the RSS feed, ascully.com, click on the word podcast. You can listen on the page, subscribe. If you've got an Amazon device, say, listen to After the Show podcast on TuneIn. It will play the latest episode. We're also on YouTube. Email feedback to me at ascully@ascully.com. Don't email Sid Talk. And stay classy, you crazy rich Asians.
Oh my God. And I'm going to say, think for yourselves or someone will do it for you.